My brother is marrying the girl I'm still secretly in love with, but he doesn't know I sabotaged their first date. I'm seated in my vehicle directly outside a Walgreens establishment, and I am absolutely incapable of fully comprehending the events that have unfolded in the preceding 2 hours. Consequently, I am documenting this in writing because I am in desperate need of reassurance that I have not lost my grip on reality. I departed from my job ahead of schedule today, genuinely early, which is something I seldom do because our daily log is completely filled. However, my final client appointment was cancelled, and my superior instructed me to simply return home. I have been feeling unwell for a fortnight, drained and queasy. And this morning, during my midday meal break, I finally purchased a maternity test and administered it in the Walgreens washroom, emulating some figure from a youthful cinematic feature. 2 markings expecting. I am 28 years old, have been involved romantically with Justin for nearly 2 years, and we have discussed the prospect of matrimony and offspring someday. Therefore, while this is occurring sooner than our projected timeline, I was not panicking. I was, in fact, thrilled, joyfully excited, even. I procured sparkling juice and those small chocolate confections he favors from the in-house bakery section and drove back to our residence, meticulously planning a charming disclosure. I arrived at our flat around 3:30 p.m. and Justin's automobile was in the designated parking space, which was peculiar because he conducts his work from the house, but typically heads to the fitness center around this moment. I am ascending the stairwell to our second-level apartment unit with my bag of provisions, and I can distinctly hear him through the entrance, speaking loudly and chortling. I gently pushed open the door because I intended to surprise him, and I overheard him utter, "She genuinely believes that becoming pregnant will persuade me to stay. What a misguided simpleton." He is at his workstation in the main living space, positioned with his back toward me, engaged in a computer game, and his Discord interface is visible on his screen. I can make out about 4 other individuals in the audio communication channel, and Justin continues his monologue. "I'm presently searching for an apartment in Denver with my bona fide paramour. I'll make her cover the expenses for the termination of the pregnancy, and then sever all contact with her on every platform." One of his comrades remarks, "Mate, that's ruthless," and snickers as if it's a jape. As if I am a jest. And Justin simply responds, "She's merely been a trial run for the genuine article. Monica is everything she lacks, intelligent, appealing, destined for success. This one is simply serviceable until I depart next month." I retrieved my cellular device, my hands trembling so violently I nearly dropped it. I began documenting an audio memo and simply stood there, fixed in place in the entrance of my own domicile, eavesdropping on my partner of 2 years. He was informing his acquaintances from the online community that I am a mere experiment, that he possesses a true sweetheart named Monica in Denver, that he is leaving the following month, that he is going to compel me to fund an abortion for a child I only just discovered the existence of 20 minutes ago. His confidant Troy inquires if I am even cognizant of his impending relocation. And Justin replies, "Nah, she has absolutely no inkling. I've been suggesting to her that my job might necessitate a transfer, but I'm actually resigning and relocating. I've already secured a position out there. Monica facilitated it through her organization." Another friend asks how long he has been involved with Monica, and Justin states, "Approximately 8 months. 8 months. We've been sharing living quarters for a year and a half, and he's been maintaining an entire romantic attachment in an alternative state for 8 months. I kept the recording active for around 3 minutes before Justin turned around to retrieve his water receptacle and observed me standing motionlessly there. His face lost all color. He utters, "Darling, when did you arrive back home?" And I simply lifted my phone, displaying the active recording display to him. The small chocolate confections tumbled out of the bag of provisions onto the floor. I hadn't even registered that I had released my grip on it. Justin got up and began advancing toward me, saying, "Hold on, allow me to provide an explanation. That is not the import of the conversation." And I responded, "It sounds precisely like you have a significant other named Monica in Denver, and you regard me as misguided for carrying your child." He retorts, "You're expecting?" And I extracted the maternity testing device from my handbag and propelled it at him. It struck him on the chest and descended onto the floor between us. He gazed down at it and then back toward me and said, "All right, we ought to discuss this in a calm manner." And I let out a peal of laughter, a full-blown, deranged laugh. I challenged him, "What element is composed of calm reasoning about conspiring to desert your expecting girlfriend while simultaneously engaging with someone else in an alternate state?" He embarked on this extensive discourse regarding how the state of our relationship has not been satisfactory for a considerable period, and he has been discontented, and Monica comprehends him in ways that I do not. I inquired of him exactly when matters deteriorated, because just 2 days prior we were making arrangements for an end-of-week excursion to the shoreline, and the week before that he expressed his affection for me each and every day. He replies, "That's merely rhetoric you employ," and I erupted in fury. I began shouting about how he has been deceiving me face-to-face for 8 months while I contributed half of the rental payment, prepared our evening meals, laundered his garments, and envisioned a shared future with him. He attempted to assert that he was going to inform me eventually, and I demanded to know precisely when he was loading a moving truck next month. He became defensive then, claiming that I was overreacting and that he never pledged permanence to me, and that individuals drift apart. I asked about Monica, and he adopted a facial expression as if he wished to fabricate a lie, but recognized that I had already heard everything. He confirmed they met virtually through an online gaming platform and began communicating and developed sentiments, and she resides in Denver, where he has always aspired to relocate, so it simply seemed logical. Seemed logical, as if I am a logistical complication that he is in the process of resolving. I inquired if she is aware of my existence, and he responded that she is cognizant that he has a flatmate, and I screamed, "Flatmate," at him. I stated firmly that I am not his flatmate. I am his romantic partner of 2 years, with whom he sleeps adjacent to each evening and who reciprocates his declaration of affection. He maintained that it's intricate, and that they have an understanding. And I asked if that understanding encompasses him impregnating his flatmate. He looked again at the testing device on the floor and said, "We have to determine what to do about that, and he'll contribute half of the cost for the abortion." I commanded him to vacate the premises. He countered that, "This is his residence too." And I declared, "Then I shall depart." And I proceeded into our sleeping quarters and commenced shoving my belongings into refuse sacks. He trailed after me, insisting that we should engage in a sensible dialogue and formulate a strategy. And I informed him that the strategy is that I am leaving immediately, and he can retain the apartment and Monica and Denver and his online cohorts who consider me a jest. He attempted to grasp my arm, and I pulled it away so forcefully that I bruised my elbow on the chest of drawers. I cautioned him, "Do not make physical contact with me," and he recoiled, apologizing. He stated he did not desire for me to discover this in such a manner. He was planning to disclose it to me in a couple of weeks once he had finalized all the arrangements. As if my existence is an inconvenience he was going to manage according to his timetable. I filled 3 refuse sacks with my attire, personal care products, and miscellaneous items. I abandoned everything else because I simply wished to get away. He persisted in shadowing me throughout the apartment, attempting to initiate conversation, and I completely disregarded him. I collected my portable computer and my essential papers from the drawer of the desk and my maternal grandmother's neck adornment from the jewel container. He inquires, "Where are you even intending to go?" And I stated, "Anywhere that is not here with you." He insisted, "We are obligated to discuss the situation concerning the pregnancy." And I informed him, "There is no we anymore. There is only me managing a gestation I only recently learned about," all while listening to him label me misguided and serviceable. I loaded all my possessions into my car, and he followed down to the parking area in his foot coverings, saying, "Please, just re-enter and let us have a discussion." I entered my car and engaged the door locks, and he is standing there in the parking area declaring, "I have deep affection for you," and I stated through the closed window, "No, you do not. You harbor affection for Monica." I drove to my sibling Louise's dwelling, which is a 20-minute drive away. She hadn't yet returned from her job, so I simply remained in her driveway with all my belongings and wept profusely for approximately 30 minutes. Then I accessed my phone and reviewed the audio recording I had created. I listened to the entire content once more to ensure I hadn't imagined it. No, it is all present, perfectly audible. Justin referring to me as misguided and serviceable and a trial run. Him speaking about Monica and Denver and making me pay for a fetal termination. His companion snickering. I messaged Louise that I was stationed outside her house and that it was an urgent matter. She telephoned immediately, expressing alarm and asking if I was physically well, and I confirmed that physically, yes, but emotionally, absolutely not, and that I am pregnant. She departed from her job at that very moment and arrived home in 15 minutes. She found me still seated in my car and I displayed the recording to her. I observed her expression transform from bewilderment to outrage as she paid attention. When it concluded, she announced, "We are going inside and you are going to recount everything to me, and also we are ordering a pizza pie because you require sustenance." We are currently situated in her living area, and I just played the recording for her spouse Jude, who appears as if he wishes to travel to my apartment and engage in a confrontation with Justin. Louise asked what my intentions are, and candidly, I am uncertain. I am expecting a child conceived with a man who has been unfaithful to me for 8 months and is planning to desert me next month. I possess an audio recording of him articulating dreadful remarks about me to his associates. I fled the apartment with 3 refuse sacks of possessions, and I am presently residing temporarily in my sister's auxiliary bedroom. A fraction of me desires to transmit that recording to everyone. His parents, with whom I've shared a meal a multitude of times. His sister, Kaylee, whom I regarded as a close acquaintance. Monica, who apparently considers me merely Justin's flatmate. But another part of me is seated here, contemplating the maternity testing device in my handbag and endeavoring to determine what I am actually going to do regarding that specific matter. Louise advises that I should dispatch the recording to his parents without delay and inform them of their son's true nature. Jude recommends that I should upload it to social media and tag both Justin and Monica. My mother, whom Louise telephoned without obtaining my consent, is en route right now and will undoubtedly possess her own perspectives. I do not know my course of action. I do not know if I am going to keep this baby or not. I do not know if I am going to publicly annihilate Justin or simply depart without a trace. I do not comprehend anything except that 2 hours ago, I believed I was going to surprise my romantic partner with delightful tidings. And instead, I uncovered that my entire intimate relationship has been a deception. A special mention to everyone who is probably contemplating, why didn't you hurl the small chocolate confections at his face instead of allowing them to drop? Honestly, I concur. But I was in a state of shock. Should I distribute the recording? Should I contact Monica? Should I notify his family? Should I merely vanish and allow him to speculate? I have such intense fury right now I can barely engage in logical thought. Chapter 1 Summary, The Shocking Discovery and Sudden Departure. The narrator, upon discovering she is expecting a child, is overjoyed until she prematurely returns to her apartment and overhears her partner, Justin, confiding in his gaming comrades about his covert intentions, moving to Denver with his actual girlfriend, Monica, and compelling the narrator to undergo an abortion for the fetus he callously dismisses as a mere trial run and serviceable convenience. Overwhelmed and shaking violently, she secretly records the entire incriminating exchange before confronting him, discarding the positive maternity test at his feet. Following a heated dispute where Justin attempts to justify his 8 months of deception and manipulation, the narrator resolutely packs a minimal amount of her belongings into refuse sacks and abandons their shared residence, seeking refuge at her sister Louise's home. Initial update: chaos ensues and the truth is shared. Okay, so Wednesday night evolved into absolute turmoil, and I am still endeavoring to assimilate everything that has transpired in the preceding 24 hours. My mother arrived at Louise's residence around 6 p.m. She audited the recording 2 separate times with an expression on her face as if she were committing every syllable to memory so she could provide testimony in a court of law. When it finished the second instance, she asserted that young man needs to confront the repercussions of his actions. And I replied, I am aware, but I have yet to decide on a course of action. Louise placed an order for the pizza pie as she had pledged. And we all sat surrounding her kitchen counter while I cried ungracefully into slices of pepperoni and attempted to formulate my subsequent maneuver. My mother insisted that I telephone Justin's parents immediately. Jude suggested that I first locate Monica on a social media platform and transmit the recording to her. Louise opined that I should execute both actions, in addition to disseminating it everywhere so Justin cannot dictate the official version of events. I retrieved my phone and examined my text messages. Justin had sent me 14 communications in 2 hours. Material such as, kindly return so we can engage in dialogue, and I understand you are distressed, but permit me to elucidate. And the most egregious one was, I hold affection for you and I do not wish to forfeit our relationship. I presented them to everyone and my mother actually chuckled. She declared, he does not cherish you, my dear. He cherishes having his garments cleaned and his rental contribution divided while he orchestrates his escape. That impacted me with significant force because she is correct. I have been performing his laundry services for 2 years while he characterized me as a trial run to his online gaming peers. Jude inquired if I knew Monica's family name, and I replied negatively, but that I was aware she is employed by a certain company in Denver that is in the process of recruiting Justin. He brought out his portable computer and began conducting a search. He asked me what online gaming community they made their acquaintance through, and I responded, I believe Justin mentioned some massively multiplayer online game he engages in, but I do not recall which particular one. While Jude was conducting his investigation, my phone commenced vibrating. Justin was calling. I stared intently at it and Louise advised, do not accept that call. And I retorted, in fact I desire to hear what he has to impart. I activated the speaker function and answered. Justin exclaims, oh, thank goodness you picked up, where are you located? And I stated, I am in a secure location distant from you. He declared he has been striving to establish contact with me for a number of hours, and that we absolutely must discuss the entire situation. I questioned him about what precisely he wishes to converse about. The aspect where he maintains a romantic partner in Denver, or the aspect where he labeled me misguided for being pregnant with his child. He became silent and then asserted that he is aware he made a grave error, but those statements he made do not genuinely reflect his actual sentiments. I tittered. I asked him, therefore, you do not actually possess a significant other named Monica, and you are not moving to Denver in the subsequent month? He insisted, it is more intricate than that, and I require you to comprehend his point of view. His point of view. I asked what perspective renders it acceptable to betray your romantic partner for 8 months while simultaneously planning to abandon her. He claimed he was not engaging in infidelity precisely because Monica was cognizant of my existence. I pointed out, but I was unaware of Monica, so yes, that is literally betrayal. He attempted to elucidate that what he and Monica share is fundamentally different from what we share. That our connection was characterized by greater familiarity and comfort, but Monica stimulates him and motivates him to become a superior individual. I inquired of my mother, seated directly adjacent to me, if she was hearing this, and she actually seized the phone from my hand. My mother addressed him, Justin, this is Sandra, and you need to cease telephoning my daughter because you have already inflicted sufficient damage. Justin stammered and uttered, Mrs. Garcia, I can account for everything if she would just grant me an opportunity. And my mother pronounced there is nothing to account for. You are a prevaricator and a betrayer, and you do not merit another instant of her company. Then she terminated the call with him. We all remained seated there, speechless, because my mother is typically so placid and courteous. But she was incensed. She declared, I raised you to know better than to accept this kind of treatment, and you are not returning to that apartment or to that young man. My phone immediately rang again. Justin once more. I did not answer. He telephoned 4 additional times and then began dispatching texts, threatening to come to Louise's residence if I would not speak with him. Louise asserted, over my lifeless body, he knows where I reside. And Jude stated, if he materializes, I am contacting the authorities. Then Jude located Monica's professional networking profile. It appeared exactly as I had anticipated. Impeccable corporate photographs and one of those biographical summaries concerning innovation and leadership. Her photo-sharing social media account is open to the public, and there are pictures of her at musical performances and engaging in outdoor excursions and with companions. Nothing featuring Justin, evidently, because I am supposed to assume he is unattached. I requested that Jude send me her social media identifier. I sat there, gazing intently at her profile, trying to decide if I should transmit a message to her. Louise encouraged, do it. She deserves to be apprised of the facts. My mother advocated, send her the recording and screen captures of Justin's recent messages to you. So I proceeded to do just that. I opened the direct messaging function on Instagram and composed a message to Monica. I stated, hello, you are not familiar with me, but I am Justin's romantic partner of 2 years and we cohabitate and I am expecting a child, and he has been untruthful to both of us. I attached the audio recording digital file and screen captures of Justin texting me, I hold affection for you, that morning, in addition to a photo of us together from the previous month. I pushed the send button before I could overthink the action. My hands were shaking so intensely. Less than 5 minutes later, Monica opened my message. Then she commenced typing. The 3 dots appeared and vanished approximately 10 times. Finally, she dispatched a reply. Wait, what in the world is happening? I responded, I uncovered the truth by chance today. I recorded him articulating that you are his true significant other and I am merely a practice relationship. I felt compelled to inform you. She sent back a sequence of messages inquiring if this was genuine and when did we initiate our relationship and do we actually cohabitate. I transmitted her photographic evidence. Me and Justin at our apartment. Us on a vacation the previous year, him asleep in our bed, my entrance key to the apartment on my key ring. Every piece of evidence I could conceive of to demonstrate this was not some maniacal pursuer scenario. Monica ceased responding for approximately 10 minutes, and I just sat there, refreshing Instagram incessantly. Then she messaged back, I am going to call him right away. And my internal sensation plunged because I was not prepared for that confrontation yet, but she proceeded. My phone rang at 7:45 p.m. Justin. I accepted the call on speaker once more and he was screaming, demanding to know, what in the depths of hell did you dispatch to Monica and why are you trying to devastate my existence? I replied, I transmitted her the unvarnished truth, which is apparently more than you have ever offered to either of us. He claimed I had no legitimate authority to make contact with her, and I am acting with malice and behaving irrationally. There it is, irrational. I inquired of him how precisely I am irrational for informing your romantic partner that you maintain a secondary romantic partner. He insisted that Monica is not my romantic partner. We are merely conversing and investigating possibilities. And I retorted, you informed your online community peers you are cohabiting with her, and she is your actual significant other. So which assertion is accurate? He started to retreat from his previous statements, claiming he exaggerated to appear impressive to his friends. That Monica is only a friend who is assisting him with an employment prospect. I pointed out, that is peculiar because you also stated she is intelligent and attractive and everything I am not. He insists, I was intoxicated when I articulated those things, and they held no genuine meaning. I asked if he was intoxicated at 3:30 on a Wednesday afternoon, and he fell silent. Then he uttered, look, can we please just talk in person because this is escalating beyond control? I refused, no, I am not meeting you anywhere. He declared he is not leaving for Denver. He is not relocating. It was all merely talk and he wishes to resolve this situation. Resolve this situation. After referring to me as misguided and serviceable and a trial run, I informed him there is nothing left to resolve, and our relationship is terminated, and he needs to establish new living arrangements because I am not returning to that apartment. He attempted to argue about the lease agreement and how we are both co-signatories. And I replied, then you are responsible for the entire rental payment yourself, since Monica is apparently no longer in the picture. He claimed, that is not equitable. And I responded, neither is betraying your expecting girlfriend, but behold our current predicament. My mother seized the phone once more and instructed Justin to cease harassing her daughter, and if he telephones one more time, she is submitting a report to the police. Justin pleaded, Mrs. Garcia, please, you do not grasp the entirety of the situation. And my mother stated, I comprehend perfectly. Farewell, Justin. She terminated the call again. Around 8:30 p.m., Louise's doorbell sounded. We all exchanged glances and Jude went to examine the entrance surveillance camera. It was Justin standing on the veranda in the identical attire from earlier, appearing completely devastated. Jude did not unlock the door. He utilized the camera's two-way communication system and stated, "You are required to leave my private property immediately." Justin commenced pleading, "I only require 5 minutes to speak with her, please." Jude insisted she does not wish to speak with him, and if he does not depart, I am contacting the law enforcement. Justin looked directly at the camera and stated, "Sweetheart, I am aware you are inside. Please, just grant me an opportunity to provide an explanation for everything." I moved up behind Jude and utilized the intercom myself. I informed Justin there is nothing remaining to explain, and he needs to return to his own residence. He asserted, "My dwelling is wherever you are," and I experienced a choking sensation. I literally emitted a sound of disgust. I said, "Do not attempt that romantic nonsense after what you articulated about me today." He insists, "I did not genuinely mean any of it. I was simply venting to my companions and acting unintelligently." I requested that he account for the significant other in Denver. Then he claimed, Monica is not his romantic partner. They are only friends and he communicates with a multitude of individuals online, and it holds no genuine importance. By this juncture, Jude already had his phone prepared to dial the emergency services number. He notified Justin he has 60 seconds to vacate the property. Justin attempted the door handle, which was secured, obviously, and then just stood there, appearing sorrowful. Ultimately, he departed, and I observed on the camera as he sat in his vehicle in the driveway for another 20 minutes before driving away. I was unable to achieve sleep Wednesday night. I simply remained prone in Louise's auxiliary bedroom, scrolling through my phone. Justin texted from 2 distinct numbers after I blocked his primary one. Messages claiming he made a colossal error and he wishes to mend the relationship and, "Please do not discard 2 years over one solitary bad day." One solitary bad day. As if him maintaining an 8-month clandestine affair and planning to desert me is equivalent to forgetting my birthday or some comparable event. Thursday morning, I woke up feeling intensely nauseated, but I am uncertain if it is related to the pregnancy or emotional distress or a combination of both. Louise compelled me to consume dry toast and informed me I need to consult a physician regarding the pregnancy, irrespective of my ultimate choice. My mother, who remained overnight in Louise's other auxiliary bedroom, concurred and stated she would schedule an appointment for me for the upcoming week. Around 10 a.m., my phone vibrated from a number I did not recognize. I accepted the call and it was Kay, Justin's sister. She stated, "I was apprised of what occurred and I require certainty that it is factual." I inquired what Justin disclosed to her, and she revealed he telephoned their parents, sobbing, the previous night, claiming I ejected him due to a misunderstanding, and now I am disseminating falsehoods about him online. I asserted that they are not falsehoods. I possess an audio documentation of him uttering abhorrent comments about me while I was standing in our apartment doorway, clutching a positive maternity test. Kay became silent and then requested if I could transmit the recording to her. I did so immediately while we were still conversing. She telephoned me back 5 minutes later, weeping uncontrollably. She professed she cannot fathom that her brother would engage in such conduct and she is deeply apologetic and she had no prior knowledge. I informed her, I was equally oblivious until yesterday. She inquired what her course of action should be and I replied, honestly I do not know, but I am no longer protecting Justin from accountability. Kay stated she is disclosing the entire truth to their parents, that Justin has been lying to them too, because they are under the impression that he and I are faring admirably and planning to become betrothed soon. I pointed out, well, he's been planning to move to Denver with another female instead, so perhaps they should be made aware of that detail. She terminated the call and I just sat there, pondering if I was acting with malice as Justin had alleged, or if I was simply asserting my own dignity. Louise contended, asserting your own dignity is not an act of malice, and individuals who are apprehended committing terrible deeds invariably attempt to instill feelings of guilt in you for revealing their actions. Thursday afternoon, Justin's mother telephoned me. Simone. I accepted the call because I anticipated she would eventually call, and I might as well complete the ordeal. She asked if we could rendezvous somewhere to discuss the whole matter, and I stated, I do not believe that is a prudent suggestion. She insisted she is not attempting to manufacture justifications for Justin, but she would appreciate hearing my side before forming any judgments. We ultimately consented to meet at a local restaurant downtown Thursday evening. I brought Louise with me because I did not possess enough self-trust to be alone with Justin's mother. Furthermore, I desired a witness. We occupied a seating compartment, and Simone appeared as if she had been crying. She requested me to play the recording for her, despite Kay having already transmitted it. I played it and observed her face crumble as she heard her son refer to me as misguided and serviceable. When it concluded, she professed, I am profoundly sorry. And I had no concept he was capable of such an act. I informed her, neither did I, or I would not have squandered 2 years with him. She inquired about the pregnancy, and I replied, I am still in the process of deciding that particular matter. She stated, regardless of what I determine, she offers her full support and she is horrified by Justin's conduct. Then she disclosed something that led me to realize there is considerably more information I am unaware of. She asked if Justin ever mentioned that he perpetrated a similar action previously to his former significant other, Leah, approximately 3 years ago. I inquired, "What exactly do you mean?" And Simone explained that Justin had a romantic partner during his university years whom he betrayed, and then suddenly ceased all communication with when she discovered the infidelity. He simply completely disappeared on her and blocked her on all platforms. I felt ill. He possesses a pattern of this behavior. I am not the initial person he has committed this injustice against. I asked why Simone never brought this up when Justin and I commenced dating, and she claimed she believed he had matured and transformed, and she did not wish to intrude in his personal relationships. Louise looked across the table at me, and I could perceive she was contemplating the identical thought I was. Justin has engaged in this behavior before, multiple times, and somehow I imagined I was unique.